Hello, my name is Will, I'm the Board Book Geek, and this is television review. I want to talk about His Dark Materials, the BBC/HBO series. So I've just watched the first episode. So, first episode is down, and this focuses on the chapters of the His Dark Materials that focus on Lyra, as she gets ready in Oxford and as she leaves Oxford. So it ends with her in the hot air balloon with Mrs. Coulter. So first things first, I want to talk about the aesthetic changes before I go into deeper stuff. So the aesthetics of the His Dark Materials are basically intact. It's a slightly different looking world. It's not a world we would necessarily recognise. It's slightly contemporised, and they've used elements of the Book of Dust story as well, including the opening. What they have done is just got it away from that steampunk. I think they've tried to distance it from that god-awful film, The Golden Compass, which still should have been called The Northern Lights in the UK, because Northern Lights is the name of the first book here. But this focuses on that. Like I said, it focuses on the first few chapters of Northern Lights/Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. There are some story beat changes, and I think the character portrayals are a little bit more sympathetic. Lord Asriel and Mrs. Coulter, although she's obviously quite calculating. The aesthetics still keep it in sort of a slightly pre-war looking Britain, but there's obviously implied technology and implied other stuff that's there, and it's there in the books as well, but like cars are a thing that only wealthy people use, and the Industrial Revolution didn't quite happen the way it did, and the fens weren't drained. So James McAvoy as Lord Asriel, I love. He's far stronger than Daniel Craig in the role, and you can't help but compare it. But I think Daniel Craig's performance was obviously quite gimped in that film. That film just gives me nightmares. He's a far more... He's slightly warmer, he's slightly more sympathetic, although he's still got that coldness and that raw brutishness that he has in the book. Mrs. Coulter, on the other hand, is true to the book. She's obviously quite warm, but she's controlling. And she likes to control the situation. She likes to control the people around her. And it's very obvious from the get-go. The acting of both the actors playing those roles was on point. And I do love the fact that the girl playing Lyra didn't make me want to cringe, like Dakota in The Golden Compass. She didn't have a ridiculous accent, she just played it. And Roger, being Roger, we all know him. And he's not, at this point, he's not a main focus character, but he's an important character, and I like the kid playing him as well. They've definitely changed some people. They're probably a little bit more representative of the world it would be in. I love the Egyptians. The canal boats are slightly more modern, slightly more lived in, and it doesn't have this steampunk aesthetic, which I love steampunk, but steampunk gets annoying, and there's only so many times you can do it before it's dead. I like the costumes, I love the sets, I love the world building. The fact that it took this more real world tone, it didn't feel so much of a fantasy. And also the scale of the demons was a bit more realistic as well, which was nice, because for some unknown reason, they always portray them as quite huge in other media, and they wouldn't necessarily be that size. Yeah, just overall a gorgeous, gorgeous setup and a great start to a series, and I can't wait for episode 2. The alethiometer has changed shape. So the original is a round, old-fashioned compass that opens and it's a compass. And actually the alethiometer this time is square and it opens, but the middle section is still the same. And what it reminded me of was actually because you've got the stereotypical compass, which is the round thing with the little stop, like a stopwatch. But then you've got the Victorian flat compasses that were used for shipping. And they were flat and they folded, and that's where this has come from. And I really like that aesthetic change. It just softens it slightly and makes it gives it its own voice. I think this has the backbone to be something really special. This first episode I'm going to rate it really highly. It's really well acted, it's well performed. Just a gorgeous start to the series, and I can't wait for more. I also love the fact that it didn't shy away from the darker elements of the His Dark Materials. They did remove the ghosts from the start, and the coins and everything. If you've read the books, you know what I'm talking about. But I kind of get why, because I don't know if that would necessarily work in the world they're creating here. Genuinely blown away, and it was a great hours-long episode. If you've not seen it, if you've yet to see it, please do. And I will keep vlogging and reviewing each episode as they go. So I will talk to you guys later.